Hello and welcome to the 6th week of Vista AC training videos. This is an under 13 plus video, and today we're going to focus on some more jump technique. So we're going to build on the last two videos we've done for jumps. One was of course long jump, focusing on a knee drive, posture and landing. And then we did one focusing on triple extension and pushing off the floor. We linked that into some high jump. Today we're going to go back to the long jump and we're going to put those two key drills together. So we're going to do some key triple extension and some key knee drive to aim for some height whilst we're jumping. And we'll discuss that all later and we'll do lots of drills to help us practice that. So as always, the first thing you're going to do is do your warm-up and then we'll crack on with the session. So as we've done with all our jump videos so far, you've done the warm-up, you will have then done some squats and then we'll also do some lunges. I'm not going to show you the squats, we've done that plenty of times already. You should know what you're doing. Remember, you're going to try and do about 10 squats, your knees not going over your toes. And lunges, I'm now going to show you some basic lunges and then we're going to do a different kind of lunge to introduce us on some of the activities we're going to do today. So when we do lunges now, I want you to focus on lifting your leg up before you then put it down again. You should be lifting that leg up, the foot in dorsiflexion, as we mentioned before, the toes pointing up towards our shin. And we're trying to get that knee up to 90 degrees, if not higher than 90 degrees, before we step back down again. Okay, so do that 3 times, really thinking about that position and what you're doing with that knee, both in the air and then when both feet are on the ground. Now have a think about how that could be useful when we're doing jumping. Does that link into our run-up? Does it link into takeoff? Will it link into the flight or will it link into the landing? We're going to discuss that a bit later and we'll be able to answer that question. So the next lunge drill we're going to do is on the spot. You're going to be in a lunge position, then you're going to jump up, swap legs and land in a lunge position with the other leg. And you're going to do that 5 times, have a rest, and then we're going to do it 5 times again. And the key thing to focus on is those positions as we're landing. Our front knee at 90 degrees in front of us and our back knee at 90 degrees again, just off the ground. So have another go, try and aim for some height, push off the ground nice and high, and also lift your front knee up before you land back on the ground. Also you notice I'm using my arms as well, as we do that in running, jumping, throwing, and everything else. So let's do a quick recap of what triple extension and the knee drive actually looks like. So the first one we're going to do is your triple extension. Triple extension is extending 3 parts with your leg to push off the ground and achieve height. And so watch me, watch my hip, my knee, my toes, and have a quick remember of what that looks like. So hopefully what you should see is before I take off, my hip, my knee and my ankles are bent. As I push off the floor, I extend my hip, my knee and also my ankles. And that's really just pushing up as high as you can. Now the second one is just a simple knee drive. So again, watching my knee and see what does that look like when we're jumping. Super simple one. The leg that isn't pushing off the floor, the other leg, that's going to be driving up as high as you can to give that extra power to get up nice and high when we're jumping. Now, as you probably noticed, those two things are going to fit in together. Triple extension on one leg, the knee drive on the other, they're going to happen at the same time. So remember why we have to do the 2 techniques on takeoff, the triple extension and the high knees. And that's because we want to aim to get a lot of height when we take off for our jump, for both high jump and also long jump. Of course, for long jump, if you're in the air longer, and you'll be able to travel further before you land, and of course, the higher you jump, the higher you get over the bar. So to practice getting some height and using a bit of the knee drive and a bit of the triple extension, we're going to do the 3 drills like we already do, some hopping with 1 foot, hopping with 2 feet, and some bounding as well as some skipping. We're going to do all of that again, but rather than doing it on the flat, we're going to do some of those drills over some barriers. So although the first one we're going to do is skipping on the flat, after that, set up some barriers. You're going to have 3 barriers about 1 metre apart if you can. Aim for it to be about shin height, so your mid-shin area. Make sure that if you were going to knock the barrier, it would fall over so you didn't hurt yourself as well. But the first one we're going to do is away from the barriers. It's going to be some skipping as usual. And again, I want you to really think about getting as high as you can on the skips, but also pushing forward as well. In 3 skips, you should be able to cover kind of 5 metres almost, so it's some really big skips. Okay, as you can see, I can only fit 2 in there, so we're trying to really push up and also go really far, and hopefully you noticed that I've extended that knee and I've also driven the other knee up. Anyway, do that 3 times with 3 skips each, and then we're going to move on to some hops. So with the hops, of course, we're going to do it on one leg. We're going to now try and get it over these barriers. So on both legs have 3 goes, and again try and get as high as you can over those barriers. Now you may notice you won't achieve full knee drive on each one, because we're doing obviously hops. It's not the same as a long jump takeoff, and of course you might also notice that you don't achieve full triple extension because you've got to lift that knee up quite quick to step over the barrier, but that doesn't matter. For now we're just trying to really practice being powerful and going over those high barriers, and of course even though you don't maybe extend your leg fully, it will still be working a little bit. And think about that movement from going from a bent to straight leg, even if you don't get your leg fully straight. That will of course help you get some height. So do both legs 3 times, 3 hops for each one. Now we're going to do some 2-footed jumps. And so again, of course, you can do that 3 times, focusing on driving the knees up as you go over the barrier. That's a nice and easy one, but also pushing off and straightening those legs as you take off the floor. Once you've done 3 skips, 3 hops and 3 2-footed hops, we're now going to make it a bit harder and increase the height of those barriers. So with the space and the amount of equipment I've got, I've only just made 1 barrier, but that's completely fine. So we're just going to do 1 hop over it, or 1 skip over it, 1 jump over it. We're also going to use this setup for some of the long jumps we do later as well. So as you can see, it's about twice the height now, so it's going to be a little bit harder to jump over. Now the most important thing I want you to focus on is when you jump over this height, it's not about you lifting your legs up higher, it's not about you tucking your legs in to get over, it's about pushing off more, okay? So although you could cheat this drill and just lift your knees up higher, I want you to really try and push your whole body up. So your whole body is higher as it goes over the hurdle, okay? We're going to do a hop first, so try and do it from a standing hop if you can, maybe just with a little roll into it. I want you to try and hop as high as you can over the barrier. We'll try the other leg. And hopefully you notice there's a bit of a knee drive there and the leg straightens as I push off the floor before it then bends back up again to get over. So now we're going to try and go at some 2-footed jump over it. Again, knee drive over, leg straighten in as I take off. Have a go at hopping over it on both legs 3 times. Have a go at jumping over it 2 feet at least 3 times, maybe 6 times. If that's easy, we can try again, even higher. Maybe we can get up to above knee height. And if you can, I'll be really impressed. So make sure you take a video or a picture of you doing that and send it to us. That'd be great to see. So now we've done that, we're going to now move on to doing some actual long jump. So last time we did some standing long jump, then we did some 1 steps, then we did some multiple steps in. We're going to do a very similar thing again, but we're going to now use an object to jump over. So the first thing we're going to do is just a 1-step jump. Now we're going to do it a couple of times on the flat to start with, just to practice and remember what we have to do. So find a space, you're going to do 1 step in, take off, jump, and make sure you land safely and softly, because we haven't got sand here, only grass. You've got to be safe when you land. Have a go at that maybe 1 or 2 times. If you can do both legs, that'd be great. And hopefully you can see it's now a lot more obvious about that extended leg and the knee drive as well. And that's of course why it is the perfect technique for a takeoff, because you get some height and you also get to push yourself forward. So we're now going to do exactly what we've just done, but over the barrier. Now if you feel confident, go for the height I've got now. You can make it low again if you need to. So from just one step, it's probably just from one step in, I want you to step in, jump up over the barrier and land. Now try and take off about half a metre to a metre before the barrier so that you get time to jump up and over. So it's not a vertical jump, we're actually working on doing a long jump. So have 5 goes of that, with one step, and you can keep getting higher and higher if you need to. So that's a nice perfect drill, so you can focus on your triple extension and also that knee drive. Film yourself, get someone to watch, see if you can slow down the movement and spot how much you're straightening your leg, or spot how much you're driving your knee up as well. Just really try and test out the technique you're doing and kind of seeing how you can achieve that height and also that distance. So if you've got some space, we're now going to go and try and do 2 or 3 steps into it. So hopefully you notice you've gone a little bit faster, a little bit further. It might actually be harder to jump higher because you've got to transfer that running energy into jumping energy, but we can all have a practice and kind of just see how far we can go. And again, if that's easy at that height, we can make it even higher. And again, have another like 5 goes at that. Really try to practice that jumping technique, ready for when we can go back into a normal long jump with a run up and a sandpit. We can do a perfect takeoff and a perfect landing. So to finish off today, we are going to focus on something we do after we've now taken off. We're now in flight mode. So we've taken off, we've done an excellent knee drive, an excellent triple extension. We're nice and high, we're flying through the sky. We're going to jump about 5-6 metres, we're going to do amazing. What do we do when we're in the air? Now the first and most basic thing you're going to do is something with your arms, something we've already discussed. So you're going to swing your arms up into the air as you take off. And on landing, you're then going to bring your arms back, down and backwards. Down and backwards is going to push you further forwards. Second thing is going to be with your leg. As you may have noticed, although we're only in the air for a very short second, that front leg that I've driven on takeoff remains nice and high. Now, the back leg, which we extended, is then lifted up, and there's a brief second we're actually in a lunge position. Now, that's why we practiced those lunges earlier. It's because for a brief second, of course, the further you jump, the longer you are in that position for. Then of course think about what do we do after that, and it's obviously very obvious. Our back knee is brought up with our front knees, then both our knees are up in front of us, and as we discussed on the first jump video, we then bring our legs down and land with our feet just in front of us. So we're going to have a couple of practices of that, particularly on the lunge position, because that's how we should be flying through the sky for the first couple of seconds of our jump. So we've already done the lunge, jump, lunge. Have a couple of practice that again if you need to. But now what we're going to do is we're going to take one step in. You're going to jump up as if you were going to do a long jump. I want you to then land in a lunge position. So you're going to take a step in, drive one knee, extend with the other, and then lift that back leg up behind you. So it's in a lunge position, and then you're going to land. So we'll have a couple of goes, and hopefully you'll see what I mean. Be careful, of course, it's not a soft landing, so don't jump too high. Hopefully what you've seen there, what I've done is I've jumped up, driven one knee, extended the other, got into this lunge position, then landed. And what we've practiced there is getting into that lunge position, because that's what we would be doing in the first half of the jump. And of course afterwards we then bring both feet together and land with our feet just in front of us like we've already shown. So have a go at that a few times, and then that will be the end of the session, so well done.